So John 3:16, the most famous verse in the Bible, is talking about extraterrestrials giving humanity back the light so as to worship themselves? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Tattooed Reactions. Hope you're all doing awesome today. So, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not. I'm sure every single person has heard of the verse John 3:16, the most famous verse in the Bible. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Well, I came across a video this week, and this gentleman seemed to suggest that that verse actually is referring to extraterrestrials giving humanity back the light, giving them back the light so as to worship themselves. And the reason why it got my attention, because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of nonsense out in social media land, but this was a former Christian who has deconstructed. And through their deconstruction from Christianity, this is how they now interpret the Bible. And since deconstruction has become this massive movement now from within the Christian landscape, that's why I wanted to do a reaction to this video, because the guy's gonna take the Bible and do some stuff to it that you're gonna want to pay attention to. Check it out.
Weirdest verses in the Bible that I think might be dealing with literal extraterrestrial hybridization and gifting humanity the light back to humanity
Okay.
is actually found in one of the most famous verses of all time in John 3:16. Check this out. Warning, once you get this, you can't go back. Like, you can't go back to the old way of reading this verse
Okay.
or other scriptures. Once you see how I do this, you're going to start doing it every single day, and it will literally change your life. But again, be warned, you have to deconstruct a whole lot and let go of a whole lot of things emotionally, with the way you were
course you do.
raised, with your belief
You gotta
system.
deconstruct
So here we go.
so that you
John
can believe
3:16, for God so
utter
loved the world that
nonsense.
he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Okay, we've all heard that. You probably heard it 1,000 times at church. I know I did. Not only did I grow up in the church, but I also worked in ministry for many, many years. This verse always meant the same thing to me. Jesus was unalived for my sins because I'm a dirty, rotten sinner, and that's why I'm going to go to heaven someday. Now, what I think this verse actually means is hidden within the Greek text. The word Jesus uses for God is theos, which actually means supreme divinity, aka the supreme being or consciousness of the entire universe. Now, this is not unlike the word Elohim used in the Old Testament. However, Elohim is really used for the gods in a lot of ways, and the word theos is really denoting divinity, either in general form or in the supreme divinity form. And of course, when Jesus used it, he was using it in the supreme divinity form. Here's where it gets weird. He gave his only begotten Son. Now, only begotten here does not just mean only, like we've been told. It actually comes from the Greek word monogenes, which means one of a kind or unique. The word huion, which is son, actually means kinship. So we can reread the verse as, the supreme divinity so loved the cosmos that he gave unique kinship, that whoever believes in himself shall have perpetual life. And him comes from the word auton, meaning the self.
Okay, so a lot of things here. Now, again, this dude was a Christian, worked in the church for many years, but has since deconstructed. So something happened in his church-going experience that has turned him off from the traditional faith. Usually, a lot of these deconstructionists, they will turn to atheism. But this dude didn't turn to atheism. He just has went to a more new age, a new spiritually enlightened form of belief. He says he's still on a spiritual journey. But this is what happens again when you step outside the bounds of proper biblical interpretation and you take the Bible and you take verses and you start messing with them to come up with hidden meanings or making them say what you want them to say. And so this dude takes the most famous verse in the Bible, John 3:16, and then he starts going into the Greek. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there in social media world when people trying to find hidden meanings in the Greek. And I'm going to be honest, there usually is a lot to be learned from knowing the original language. And so it's very interesting when you read the Bible and you use what's called an interlinear Bible, where you can see all the Greek meanings behind the English words and know what they mean and can see what the interpreters were trying to, or the translators were trying to do when they were interpreting the text from Greek or Hebrew or Aramaic into English. But when you do a lot of textual work, you'll discover that there's a wide range of meanings. That when you're going from one language to another, especially from Greek to English or Hebrew to English, those Greek or Hebrew words, they can have a wide range of meanings. One word can mean 10 different things, and it's the same in English. You can have one word that has multiple meanings. And so what Bible translators do is they take the context of what's happening in a passage, look through all the wide range of possible meanings, and put in the one that fits the context the best. But what you can do is what this dude has just done, and he goes and he looks at the Greek meanings, and then he starts looking at the wide range of meanings, and then starts picking other words and then inserting them into the text. But the reality is he's taking words that don't fit the context. So yes, the words that he used meant those things in Greek, but there are other meanings for those words that actually fit better. And so this is, if you're not careful, you can hear something like this and be like, oh, wow, that makes sense. Well, if those words mean this or if those words mean that, well, then obviously, shoot, I got it wrong. But no, he had an agenda going into it. And he went to the text, went to the Greek, found meanings of words, saw that there's multiple meanings for each of these English translated words, and then just started swapping them in, swapping them out, coming up with his own rendition of the verse. That is not, nowhere does the Bible teach that. That's a complete butchering of the text. You're literally flipping it upside down. And in reality, you can go to any verse in the Bible and do that. You can take any verse, go into the original language, look at what all those words mean, the possible meanings, and start swooping them out. And that is not how you read or study the Bible. That's called butchering the text. And so if you hear this kind of stuff, and you'll see it and hear it a lot. I mean, I've heard from this guy, he's got a ton of videos where he does this, and I've heard other creators do the same thing where they take verses and they take words and they start swapping out using other meanings of the original words that don't fit the context. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? There is a right way to read the Bible and a wrong way. This is not how you read the Bible. The Bible, John 3:16, does not talk about how extraterrestrials giving humanity back the light to worship self. It's not what it's not what it's said. Don't fall for it. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave any comments, questions down below. Have an awesome rest of your day or evening, and we'll see you all at the next episode. Much love. God bless.